Oh, sorry. Let's go back to Machakos.
No. So in Machakos, we had a well and tap water.
You've seen how overpopulated that city has become.
Yes.
And with the infrastructure that has been there, I don't think, the one thing with Kenya is that I don't think things like drainage infrastructures have been improved since colonial times, since the first planning
Especially
and
the coast.
creation of these cities.
When you say
So-
drainage, are you saying like the ones that we see them digging before rainy season, or you're saying ongezari?
No, I think Mika is referring to the sewer system.
The
Like
sewer
the
system,
whole,
the drainage
Understood.
system.
yes, the
you know,
whole
they're
drainage
supposed to
system.
be-
Okay.
Yeah,
the
it's not been
Reaper
upgraded
rains,
since.
the Reaper rains, and you're supposed to also leave. Basically, you're supposed, when you construct a road, you're supposed to leave a few meters for the water to flow. And usually, if you look at the construction, that is why you'll never find a flat road. They let the road flow. They let the road
Flow down, yeah.
go with how nature has designed that area, so that in case of rain, everything just flows symmetrically, and usually in some kind of way it will find itself in a river or in the ocean. So in Mombasa today, people it's rained for 3 days consecutively, and not just rain manyunyu, heavy rains. And we saw that in some areas in Bamburi where actually people were swimming inside their houses and in the streets.
Yes.
That is, the water has risen to a point whereby it's in some places is door height, in some places is up to a 1.5 meters high. So El Nino is here, but the government not saying anything since they prayed El Nino went. Whatever this is, it's new. They don't know what to call it.
Did they actually say they prayed it away?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they did.
Look for a speech on Ruto. Look for a speech where Ruto said that. When Ruto said that they're predicting El Nino there's not going to be an El Nino, and then he made a comment that when we held a prayer session to pray against the rain, people laughed at us. But it seems like our prayers work. But then I guess it backfired.
Okay, all right. Mika, thank you so much for that update. I mean, this issue of floods, I remember a long time ago, we used to hear about Budalangi, but now this is coming to
Narok.
Yeah, but now this is coming to the cities. And of course, Mombasa has had that. Mombasa has two issues. It has the drainage issue, and then it has water issues. There are places that permanently, since my childhood, have not had running water. Like certain parts of Kisauni.
Clean. And Kisauni was one of the
Yes.
flooded areas.
Yes, it's one of
Big
the flooded
time.
areas. Yeah.
Kisauni was big time flooded.
So, and it's unfortunate that every new development that's being built, instead of maybe the government, the national or the county government, thinking about, like upgrading the drainage system, and finding new water sources, every new building has a borehole. Like especially these newer buildings, these new apartments they're building, they all have boreholes. And the problem with that is that the water table, when you have too many boreholes, it affects the natural water table. So there's certain boreholes that are dug, watu wanakutana na maji ya chumvi.
Correct.
Yes. There's certain boreholes that are dug and you kutana with maji ya chumvi because like there is some science behind how it works. Like I'm not a scientist, I don't know, but it's never a good idea to have like multiple boreholes within an area rather than have just a pump, like a proper like water supply.
Water supply, yeah.
There was supposed to be a desalination plant, and I don't know like how far that project went.
There's that, but also another issue there is no problem with building and construction, but for some reason they build, but the same, I guess, drainage system is the same. So there's no expansion. There is no expansion of the drainage system. Like now, for example, if you're like now those places of those sides of Kileleshwa, Lavi, whatever. Right now it's overcrowded. So there are very many buildings that are coming up. The problem is all these people system probably nile. And like Mika said, there has not been any adjustment, expansion of the drainage system.
And then even worse, places that are like in Nairobi West where I grew up, a compound, like maybe a half an acre, 1 acre compound that was one family, maybe a 5-6 person household, now ni gorofa.
Kabisa.
Like,
ata umo.
Yes. So that same drainage that was serving 5-6 people is now supposed to serve 100 people or even more. Ruth,
I am just in shock.
what are you in shock about?
You guys don't have this problem in Machakos? I'm just asking for a friend.
Makweni.
Oh, sorry, Wote.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. I actually I more identify with Machakos because I grew up in Machakos.
Oh, so
my
That's why I
my
said what I
parents
said.
just moved to Makueni.
Oh, so you're a city girl.
And so I.
Machakos is not a city.
It is a city.
Okay, sorry. I thought we only have 4 cities.
Violence.
Don't we only have 4 cities in
Machakos is a
Nini?
city. So in that regard, I'm a
Officially,
city girl. But
yeah,
like,
it's a town.
Officially 3.
but-
It's 4.
Omosho nacheza na Mkamba.
Which one is the 4th one?
Nakuru.
Nakuru is not a city.
Okay. We'll find that out. Ruth.
Okay,
So-
Mika
Yeah.
will see you on the side, behind the tent.
so we
Hiyo
actually.
ni yako hiyo. Gazetted cities are 3. Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa.
Aya, sawa.
I
Ruth.
don't know what he's saying. Gazetted cities for city. They just did this. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to Machakos.
No. So in Machakos, we had a well and tap water. So like from the city.
Okay.
And then in Makueni, in the my parents have 2 places right now. So in the city one, they have tap water, of course. But then the one in Ocha, we actually did do a borehole.
Okay.
And I'll say that because there is no, and we did everything. So we did the borehole, we did the biodigester,
Yes.
because there is no drainage there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to do that ourselves. And I can only imagine, because it's a very new, it's a developing place.
Yeah.
Ton of the county government people are kind of buying land around the same place. So soon we'll have all of those things. Everybody having their own borehole, probably their own drainage.
Yep, and biodigesters and stuff.
So I can see that being an issue down the line. I confess to that. But then let's talk about this El Nino thing. I'm actually very, very surprised that it was sprayed away. Well, it is a weather pattern that's been predicted, and we know it will happen. It's funny that it was sprayed away because I know one of the things my parents have a farm, so we're talking about, and we actually did this before the rain started, creating, because we knew the Nino is going to be a lot of rain, a lot of water. That's unnecessary, honestly. So we actually had to create drainage to
channels
to divert the water from the farm. So I'm wondering if I have people on the ground actually trying to do something about preparing for, more than normal rains. Why is it being prayed away?
So just like Christopher Columbus when he came here and he told the natives, I'm telling you, you're going to see that my God is powerful, and in 2 weeks, you're going to see the sky is going to turn red. And you know what that was? The moon. The blood moon.
Yeah.
Well, the Jesus kasema pole, we shall pay you and whatever and give you the supplies that you need.
You know, the sad thing is
carry on.
that despite everything, when they say that they were getting prepared for the El Nino, and we saw Governor Sakajo actually say that he's going to buy boats, and people laughed at that idea, laughed at him. But I thought it was a good idea because if you look at the situation in Mombasa right now, if they had lifeboats, they would have saved a lot of people. Right now, the death toll they're saying is between 1 and 2, but the boats could have acted well in evacuation. But now my thought process is this. Our electricity in that country will depend on geothermal and the 7 fork dams, right? 3 of the dams have been operating below capacity because they didn't have any water in the reservoirs. This is a chance whereby they should have thought of ways of harvesting that water. We saw California went through drought for 3 years in a row, and once last year they were getting excessive rain, they captured the rainwater.
They harvested
Now
it.
they harvested it and they have it, and they're confident that they're not going to suffer any more drought in the next coming years. This is what the government should have been thinking about, because right before this El Nino, last year we were complaining that there was going to be starvation because there were the locusts which were migrating all over the world, and then last year Kenya went through drought. There was no rain, so this year we have excessive rain. It's just going to cause devastation and damage. And then after by January, when the sun comes, the rainy season is over, we will say again we have no water. Electricity distribution will go low, food distribution will go low, and we'll go back to the same cycle. So it's an adversity, but how are we taking advantage of it right now? How prepared were we for this El Nino an El Nino that was being spoken about way before the rainy season was predicted? Months ago, they knew that El Nino was coming. How are we getting ready for it? That's the question that people should be asking right now. And we don't even hear the government talking about it. They say they were El Nino. Most counties say they've put aside money for the El Nino, but we're not seeing anything. Today it was Mombasa. Early on in the week, it was in the northeastern part of Kenya, in Wajir. Those dry areas actually were having floods, and people lost lives. So you're left here wondering, what is the game plan? Where all this preparedness they were saying they were ready for, are we just going to see a loss of life, destruction of property? We are seeing in Nairobi, estates are crumbling. Peponi Estate was crumbling because it's built next to a riverine, and somebody was constructing new buildings there. But because of the rain, the soil is loose. A whole estate is really crumbling and falling in. We have buildings sinking in Nairobi. Buildings are sinking. Like people wake up in the morning and they find their buildings have sunk inside the ground because of the excessive rain. And as Aliyah said, it's that digging of too many boreholes. Who are planning? And I honestly, I'm left here wondering what are we going to see after the end of these rains, and then how are we going to recover after the end of these rains?
Wow, that is so profound what you've just said, Mika. And unfortunately, climate is one of those very difficult to understand things for the regular person. So you can't even say let's punish the politicians who are not advocating for the right climate policy. It's ironical that the Global Climate Summit was in Kenya just was it a few months or just a few weeks ago? It's ironical that such a big summit is in Kenya, but it seems like we don't have a proper plan.